Bangladesh is a country surrounded by India, but BNP-led government do not want to cooperate with the Awami League, which located in India. That's why the relation between India and Bangladesh will be continue to be tense, I think. Expanding China's influence or Pakistan's influence in this region could be the matter. This is a good chance for Japan and the United States to suggest alternative choice instead of the China and Pakistan, and to make balance. This is the age of the competition. This is the age of the security.
Welcome to another episode of Tokyo Outpost. Joining us here today is Dr. Satoru Nagao. Dr. Nagao is a non-resident fellow at the Hudson Institute in Washington and a senior research fellow at the Japan Forum for Strategic Studies. He is also an associate professor at Tokyo International University and specializes in Japan's foreign and security policies as well as Indo-Pacific strategy. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
I guess I want to start off with one of your areas of expertise, which is South Asia. And just yesterday, on February 12th, there was a critical general election in Bangladesh. And this, of course, was an election that was held after the Hasina government was ousted in August 2024, if I'm correct. And as of now, I believe the BNP party, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, has taken a majority in the parliament. Can you maybe share your general thought on this election?
Yeah, people expect something has happened when the revolution has happened in 2024.
Right.
But view from the result of this election, this is one kind of the traditional one. We are seeing because there are two big groups,
Right.
two big gangs, something like that.
Right.
Two big parties. One of the group is the BNP, which won the election this time, and another one is Awami League, led by Sheikh Hasina, the former prime minister before the revolution. Indeed, when we check the history of the Bangladesh, these two groups dominated Bangladesh politics.
Right.
So one side win, another side lose, and vice versa.
Right.
So that's why when the revolution has happened, people want to change it, I guess. But view from the result, one side prohibit to join the election, and another side got the majority. Quite natural result, view from the history of Bangladesh. But is this a change? This is not expected. So that's why Bangladesh is returned to the traditional one because of the capability and because of the strength of these two groups. This means that the Bangladesh has some certain uncertainty because one big group has prohibited to join means that they are very frustrated and potential to become uncertain in situation in Bangladesh. So what will happen in the domestically could be the matter, and if the new government will crack down, which is BNP lead government cracking down the Army League, it will affect situation in Bangladesh, and this is not good, I believe.
Okay.
Instead of this, if the BNP choose more practical policy and not crack down the Army League so much and try to reconcile this, that is good to make the stable situation in Bangladesh. But in my opinion, BNP will crack down the Army League is more natural because of what happened in the past.
Right. Can you maybe talk a little bit about the regional implications? A lot of countries were obviously watching this election closely: India, Pakistan, even United States and China. How would this election affect with regional relationship moving forward?
Yeah, that is very important because Awami League predecessor supported by India, so very close to India. And since the 2008 to 2024, for a long time, they are very close, and so that's why still the Sheikh Hasina staying in India, and this relation is very deep. This means that under the new government led by BNP, India is other side or potential enemy or something like that. So even if the BNP led Bangladesh need to cooperate with India because of the trade, because of the security, because three sides of the Bangladesh is India and one side is sea, but in front of India. So so Bangladesh is a country surrounded by India. So that's why they need to cooperate with India anyway. But BNP led government do not want to cooperate with Army League, which located in India. So that's why the relation between India and Bangladesh will be continue to be tense, I think.
Okay.
So that's why the Bangladesh choice could be the China and Pakistan first. Because instead of India, China and Pakistan try to show very friendly gesture to the Bangladesh, and they could be the supporter instead of India. But view from the Bangladesh, this is controversial indeed because rely on the China and Pakistan, but still Bangladesh located was surrounded by India, I should say. So that's why they need to find something the balanced policy between India and Pakistan and China, and but more tilting toward China and Pakistan could happen. The problem is the view from Japan, view from India, view from the United States, expanding China's influence or Pakistan's influence in this region could be the matter. So that's why this is not comfortable, simply said. And the view from the Bangladesh, tilting toward one side is not good to make independence. That is also true.
Right.
So under such situation, if India cannot show the strong influence in Bangladesh, the another choice for the Bangladesh is Japan and the United States.
I see.
Recently, Bangladesh concluded a trade agreement with Japan and United States, both in this case. This is the EPA. So that's why this is a good chance for Japan and the United States to suggest alternative choice instead of the China and Pakistan, and to make balance. And this is good for India too, because Japan and the United States is friendly toward India, and India do not see Japan and the United States as a potential enemy. But China and Pakistan clearly potential enemy for India. So that's why the view from India, if the Bangladesh cooperate with Japan and the United States to make balance with their relation with China and Pakistan, that is better choice for India, I believe. So that's why this is matter. And so if there is a Quad meeting, maybe something we can talk about it, I think. But that is and, what the US and Japan can do, I believe.
I see. You talked a little bit about how Japan might be looking at this election in Bangladesh. And historically, Japan and Bangladesh obviously has a good relationship. But how does Japan look at the region in South Asia, particularly relationship with India, for instance? And how do you think the relationship might evolve? You talked a little bit about the Quad alliance. Quad. How do you think the security relationship might evolve moving forward?
In this case, security and economy, there are some differences. In the case of security, and that place is dominated by India.
Okay.
Because that's the Indian subcontinent separate from the other Eurasian part by the high Himalaya mountain. And three sides of the Indian subcontinent is Indian Ocean. So one kind of the independent places exist in that place. And 70% of the land mass is dominated by India. So other countries, including Pakistan or others, is lesser than 30%. And view from the defense budget, total defense budget that these countries spend, but 80% dominated by India.
I see.
So, viewed from the power balance, India showed strong influence, strong leadership in this region. That is true. But at the same time, because of this, countries around India do not wish India's influence too big. So that's why this country want to cooperate with other country outside of South Asia. And sometimes China whisper, okay, we are good choice. So something like that is always happen.
Right.
And so, and Pakistan want to resist against India's influence. So under such a situation, what kind of policy Japan can do, we need to identify. So view from this power balance, of course, Japan should cooperate with India, but at the same time, view from these countries around India, they want to get something alternative choice instead of India. And Japan can do the very good thing for both in this case, because for India, we respect India's dominance in this region. But at the same time, in front of the Bangladesh, in front of Sri Lanka, in front of Nepal, the country around India, Japan can say, we can be the alternative choice and not provoke India. Because China tried to do the same thing, but in case of China, China is a threat against India. So that's why if the China expand influence in this region, every time India is very frustrated and they worry about China's dominance, and this is too provocative for India.
Yeah.
So competition change to be the confrontation could happen in this region.
Right.
But in case of Japan, Japan can suggest more friendly. And in this case, the economy has a role because Japan needs alternative choice. Japan's economy is indeed dominated by the factory in China. But recent Japan-China relation, recent means that some decade, I want to say, the Japan and China relation has some problem. And Japan's companies searching the alternative choice, alternative place for their factories. In this case, if the factories relocate from China to the South Asian country, including Bangladesh, India, of course, but India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, these countries. In this case, this is win-win situation between Japan and the country in the countries in the South Asia.
Right.
So if Japan has the will to cooperate with the South Asian countries, including India and the country another India, and its economy is one of the choice to strengthen relations. And this relation will affect the security in the South Asia and Northeast Asia, both in this case. Because to deal with China, we need to find something, the good supply chain instead of China.
Right.
And view from these countries, South Asia, they can get the chance to cooperate with Japan and promote or develop their economy. And this country, India want to get developing economy, but country around India want to get something alternative choice. Everything could be win in this case. So that's why this is my golden age. If the President Trump's match is something, but something, that kind of the situation we can create. Such kind of potential exists. That is true.
I see. That's very insightful. Talking about election, I just want to pivot a little bit to Japan. And Japan, like Bangladesh, held a critical election on February 8th, the lower house election, where the Liberal Democratic Party, the ruling party, secured a supermajority in the parliament. Can you maybe give your take on how you saw the election in Japan?
Yeah, these two elections, one party got 2/3 of the majority. That is common. But at the same time, in case of Japan, in case of the Bangladesh, indeed completely different. In case of Japan, the Liberal Democratic Party is trustworthy party, people believe, and there is no alternative choice. So that is the reason. In case of Japan, what is the most important is supporting LDP, Liberal Democratic Party, or punish the LDP. These are the matter always. And this time, under the Prime Minister Takaichi, the people wish the LDP got majority and to shows a strong leadership. That is the result. I think there are the four reasons why the PM Takaichi won this election. The first, indeed, some people believe, for a long time, some people believe domestic policy is affecting the diplomacy. But what happened this time is indeed a little bit different, I think. Diplomacy affected the domestic policy.
I see.
Firstly, the President Trump sworn in last year, the 2025, and the world has changed, the people believe. And when the first election after the President Trump sworn in was last upper house election. That time we can see the right-wing opposition party increased the seat in the upper house election. This time, right wing is a political right. Anyway, okay. In this case, right wing is a simple word. I do not want to say right wing is extreme. Right wing is simple right, but political right or right wing is matter. But not it's not matter. But anyway, these right side parties increasing the number in the both the upper house election last year and the lower house election this year. So this means that view from the timing, this is caused from the President Trump. Under the President Trump, the political right or right-wing government face small difficulties, but left-wing party or middle party lead the government face a big problem with President Trump. So that's why which party can deal with the Japan-U.S. relations? If the people believe, of course, right side is better. And this situation reflects to the election, I believe. And another one is China. China provoked Japan, and Japanese are very frustrated and decide to resist it. So resisted in this case, China intimidate the Prime Minister Takaichi, to cut her head or something like that. That remark came from the diplomat of the Chinese. Very frustrated and rude. Very frustrated. We from Japan, this is very frustrated, and this is very rude. So that's why it's Japanese need to say something about this. Maybe everyone think I think because something this is too outrageous. So that's why in the election, the Premier Takaichi got the support because of the frustration of the Japanese. So China is pushing PM Takaichi despite they dislike her. That is what happened, I believe. So these U.S. and China both are affecting the result of the election in Japan diplomatically. So that is so diplomacy, world affairs is background affairs of the domestic policy. So that's why this background is very important in this election, I believe. Domestically, of course, two reasons, I think. Firstly, PM Takaichi's new image is very good because she is the first lady prime minister, that is true. But at the same time, the outspoken she is, and she explained very properly. In case of the Taiwan crisis, of course, some people believe this is a new remark from the PM of Japan. But it is not. But view from the situation, it is natural explanation, and in the democratic country, such kind of level of discussion should be the common. So that's why this is not a mistake. This is honestness. That is not a bad thing. So that's why such kind of the character, view from the common Japanese, this is a good explanation, and PM should explain her policy, something like that, and always. because people want to understand what the prime minister want to do. Some prime minister can hide their intention. That is not a good attitude view from the common Japanese. Honestness is better. So that's why this new image or this character is supported by the Japanese people, I believe. Instead of this, there is no good leader in the opposition party.
I see.
Opposition party's leaders are quite old image, and that's why there is no mood to support them. So very weak opposition party is one of the reasons PM Takaichi's victory in this election, I believe. And PM Takaichi has succeeded very well. Timing is best, and tactics is best, and this is a historical victory.
You mentioned a little bit about Japan-China relations here, and like you said, this election, I think, as much as it was about domestic issues, it was also about how Tokyo would sort of manage the so-called China risk moving forward. How would the relationship between Tokyo and Beijing move from here onward with Takaichi and her strengthened mandate?
I think the PM Takaichi's policy is following the PM Abe's policy, I think. Because when the PM Abe was the prime minister, of course China disliked him because there was an article he wrote, Asia Democratic Security Diamond, which is criticized China's aggressive move and supports the Quad corporation against China. So of course this is quite honest, but China disliked this idea, of course. So, but even if under such kind of situation, the PM Abe tried to negotiate with China, and the Japan-China relation was relatively stable. So this is a good example of what the PM Takaichi will seek. When the PM Takaichi sworn in the last October 2025, that time, within the 1 month, PM Takaichi met many leaders in the world, including Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And that time, the PM Takaichi say what she need to tell China, but at the same time, she tried to open the negotiation table and make the stable situation. So that time, situation was stable, and this is quite similar with a negotiation between PM Abe and Xi Jinping. So that's why this is a policy of the PM Takaichi. Even if there is a problem, Japan need to tell China honestly. But at the same time, Japan-China relation should be that stable. Maybe it will happen again. And so when we talk about Japan-China relation, we can remember something, the word of the cold peace. Cold peace, generally, this is the word used for the US-India relation in the Cold War. There is no war, but the situation is cold. And Japan-China relation is one kind of the cold peace, I think, because relation is relatively cold, but still this is peace.
Right.
That is, but so that is the situation that PM Takaichi will seek. Why I start to say but is, but Japan-China relation could be this in the near future, and this is similar with the PMMA, but the decisive factor of the Japan-China relation will be affected by US-China relations.
I see.
As a background. And in this case, Japan cannot control it. US-China relations view from the US policy towards rivals in the past, last 250 years. This is a 250 years anniversary for the United States celebrates after the independence. But that's 250 years, US hasn't allowed any rival to survive. So if China has the potential to become the number one instead of the United States, in this case, of course, the US-China relation is very important, but US cannot allow the rival to survive, I believe. So that's why US-China relation could be something, the Cold War style in the future. This is the competition, and tough competition, and it will affect the relation not only for the US and China, but also the Japan-China. So in the long run, anyway, Japan, which is clearly the US side countries, need to face the US-China competition. And that time, in Japan-China relation is also competitive.
Mm.
So that's why now the Cold Peace, we can say, but in the near future, it will be the Cold War style. That is I expected.
Mm. Mm. I see. Um, I guess I want to turn a little bit more to domestic policies. With LDP having a supermajority, I believe it's expected that the Prime Minister Takaichi will push through with a lot of security and economic policies. What do you think are some of the priorities, and including, would there be a attempt to amend the Japanese constitution?
Yes, in this case, of course, the security is very important. Of course, economy has the security aspect, or other policies also the security aspect. But why security is so important? Because the current world affairs rely on security.
Right.
In the past, after the Cold War, the people talk about the business in the free trade rule or something like that. But that age has already gone.
Mm.
Now the people talk about a new Cold War or a new competition, and people talk about one kind of the multinational, multipolar world, something like that is true. But at the same time, anyway, this is the age of the competition. This is the age of the security.
Mm.
So, PM Takai security policy, what will happen? Originally, she planned to increase the defense budget.
Mm. Mm.
And before the April, she will remove the regulation related to the arms export. Until the September, she will establish the intelligence organization in the government. And until the next December, the three national security document will be revised, and that includes many new tactics, or increasing defense budget, or establishing the unit, everything included.
Mm. Mm.
So that's why in the security policy, big change will come.
I see.
Big change, of course, this is based on the changes what happened under the PM Abe, PM Suga, Kishida, Ishiba, especially but PM Abe wrote this and set up this course. And so in the long run, this is the traditional course. But at the same time, now the PM Takaichi got majority in the lower house, and many with some political right or right-wing opposition parties in this group is not so small in the upper house to push this policy.
Mm. Mm.
So now the big reform of the security will come. And in this case, how to achieve is the matter. Related with amendment of the Article 9 of the Constitution, people expected that if the two-thirds of the majority got both the lower house and upper house, it could happen, and the national referendum will be matter. But indeed, anyway, this is too tough.
Mm. Mm.
And so that's why if the Prime Takaichi commit the amendment of the Article 9 of the Constitution,
Mm.
she need to spend much resources to do that, I believe.
Right. Right.
Instead of this, she cannot do the other things during she prepared to amend the Constitution. I believe that is not the effective way.
Mm. Mm.
Because some people believe the amendment of the Article 9 of the Constitution is the amendment of the security policy of Japan.
Mm.
And the traditional one kind of the pacifism.
Mm.
Pacifism is real pacifism or not, is controversial, but anyway, this is the Japanese version of the pacifism. Is rely on the constitution, people believe. But the reality is that is not, I think. because Japan's pacifism based on the mindset of the people. Under the current pacifism-based constitution, Japan can possess self-defense force. And under this constitution, Japan can possess the counter-strike capability. If the defensive purpose, Japan can possess a nuclear weapon under this constitution, if we can possess something, these capabilities.
Right.
So that's why, indeed, Article 9 is not so big matter. Core part of the pacifism is mindset of the people who try to avoid any military-related issue. For example, when we see the news, we can find Ukraine sink Russia's warship. In Japanese, this is gekichin. In the as a military word, gekichin is destroyed, something like that, a little bit strong, the people believe. But media do not use this word because of this is militaristic. So that's why just sunk they try to say. Why? Reality is gekichin is more similar because this is war.
Right.
So, but people want to avoid this. So, pacifism is something like that. Every time, many small things culminate to create a pacifism and try to avoid the military. In the self-defense force, still the howitzer unit is Tokka, special force. Special force is different, is it? Special, because army use the howitzer is not. It's not special. So in Japanese, this is hohei, because ho is a gun, howitzer, and hei is a soldier. So in the past, Japanese use special car for the tank. These are pacifism. So one by one, we should change it. Recently, the people talk about changing the name of the colonel or ranks. Colonel or lieutenant colonel. In English, same word, but in Japanese, this is Issa, Nisa, Sansa in the self-defense force, and Taisa, Chusa, Shosa in the army in the world. Why different? Because the people try to say self-defense force is not a formal army, and if this forces becomes a real formal army, we start to use Taisa, Chusa, Shosa. But that's not who decided. Self-defense force can use Taisa, Chusa, Shosa instead of Issa, Nisa, Sansa. Why they need to divide? Now people call the special car as a tank. Sensha. Sensha is the Japanese word of the tank. Sensha is fighting car, meaning fighting car. So in the past, because of the pacifism, they try to avoid to use it. This small mindset, careful manner mindset, create a pacifism. If so, before the amendment, Article 9 of the Constitution, firstly, we should change it.
I see.
Change it. Use the military word if they need. There is no taboo to use it. Such kind of mood is make Japan to be normal. And that is very important because recent world affairs demand Japan to be strong. And PM Takaichi understand this very well. And that's why PM Takaichi tried to reform this security policy to survive. World affairs demand Japan to do that. In the past, Japan is the only strong country in the Asia. And so that's why Japan tried to restrict their military forces and try to make peace in Asia. But now the other countries' military power is stronger than Japan. Under such kind of Asia, how to survive is a matter. That is, in this case, Japan need to be strong. And Japan need to be strong. In this case, reform the security policy is needed. But this is not rely on the constitution. This is rely on the mindset.
I see.
So that is the PM Takaichi try to do, I think. So now in India, we can see the PM Modi is inspecting the new facility, which is a highway, but fighter jet can taking over land. So, and this is located Assam in front of China. So that's why this is counter-China fortification in India. Prime Minister try to inspect this kind of facility and advertise the people we should be strong. Why Japan hasn't done? Japan should do the same. There's no shelter of the Japanese fighters. It's lining up with the air base. It looks like the enemy can fire and destroy all of it immediately. That is not good because limitation of the Japanese size of the Japanese air base. So how to hide the fighter jet? Budget is matter to fortify this kind of the air base. That is matter. Now the Japanese Ministry of Defense has already identified this problem, try to fortify, but in Japan, the mood is a little bit different. This is pacifism, and they hasn't realized how important this fortification. Subway is too shallow, and the bomb can destroy the subway also. Not only surface, subway also. No shelter in this place. Only deal with earthquake. This is good, better than nothing, but not deal with bomb and missiles. So that's why the mindset is very important. We should prepare the security, and in this case, firstly, we need to change our mindset.
I see. Well, that's a really important point I think you mentioned. So while the Constitutional Amendment might have a symbolic meaning, it doesn't really have a practical implication, would you say? And whether it's the mindset and the Takaichi's government should focus on other sort of security, pushing other security policies instead of Constitutional Amendment.
Yeah. But I need to add, of course, I strongly support the amendment of the
Right.
Article of the 9 of the Constitution. That is true. But view from the resources,
Right.
maybe we should move more faster. So that is my opinion.
Okay, I see. Well, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Nagao.
Thank you very much. It is honor for me.
Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. Tune in for our next episode of Tokyo Outpost.